All right, hello everyone. Here we're back for a golf clash tutorial. Hole number 5, Glenmonarch Estate, and here you can see straight into the wind. There's a couple options you have. You can either use, a Titan ball or a Navigator if you'd like to go down. It really depends on, do you want to give yourself the opportunity to get a short iron into this green? So what you're going to see me do is maybe about 2 topspin, and you can see with kind of how I'm aiming, kind of offsetting my guide. I might go plus 10% here, 9.2, 6 rings. You can see where I'm basically aiming. Let me get this grid back on. 6 rings. Just a little bit into max, very, very minimal. Perfect ball. It's really going to be dictated by the second wind. Just because I do this shot doesn't mean I'm going to, be able to get to the hole on the second shot. It's really going to, and you really want to get down there just a couple more yards. An extra 5 yards would have really done me a little bit better. But, for the most part, if you bring a Titan, you could potentially give yourself the possibility to get a short iron there. And with your potential to get that short iron there, gives you an extra hole out capability. Now, what I usually do is I usually do play elevation just slightly on this hole. So I'm thinking, depending on what we have, I usually do it for more of, you are shooting to a over the water, and it kind of dips down into a lower void, so you need to do at least usually plus 10%. But it's also going to be very wind specific. So depending on what the wind scenario is, here with a tailwind, I could maybe kind of stick to that value. And you can see I barely made it long enough. And, I probably will use very close to, plus 10% adjustment and then offset my guide. Keep in mind that I'm going to use very close to a max number, maybe just come in just slightly on it. So here you can see, I might need to hit off this fairway. So with that in mind, I might need to stretch this guide out a little bit. You can see how I'm offsetting it kind of intentionally. 5.3 rings, somewhere in here. Perfect ball. Gave it a chance. So I did hit the fairway. I got behind the hole. Oh, just missed. So a little bit more ball guide offset. You can see that I removed some of that backspin to make sure that the ball still got behind there, but it was just a little bit light on the adjustment. As you can see, I was kind of rushing that a little bit. Plus 10% probably wasn't enough in that situation. Maybe, actually, the plus 10 actually looked pretty good. It was just basically my offset. So you could see that I was probably about 1 grid with my offset, but the ball landed very close to where I initially set up. You could see off the fairway positioning, it was very close to that fringe, just like I originally set up, and it was probably just a little bit light on that adjustment. So as I mentioned, it gives me an extra hole out capability, and you can see what my opponent's kind of up against. Just needs to put it into the green, tap it in, and go to extra holes. So that's going to be the big difference here. Let's see here what I can do. Put this in the center. You really don't need to hit that very perfect ball at all. You can see as close as I am. That's the reason I'm dunking it. Especially if you need the dunk stat, you might want to, especially when you're in there that tight, you only have to basically release on the bullseye somewhere. So as long as you set the power correctly, you could miss basically the entire bullseye from that close and still make. So just something to think about, especially if you do want that achievement at some point. But good luck with that hole, guys, and see you guys on this shootout coming up momentarily.